Hey everybody, what's going on? We're here with the Timeless reading. Welcome. The first card that we have out is Page of Pentacles. And Justice. Nine of Swords. Ace of Wands, Ten of Cups, Temperance. Okay. My focus is being drawn into the center of this, where we have Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords is you struggling with something. This can be like, I'm worried about this thing, or I don't know like what's gonna happen. There's just like something going on that feels like it's hard to not think about it, or it's hard to not focus on it, or it's hard to not worry about it. But Nine of Swords isn't just like I'm thinking about this thing. It's to the point where it can be like, it's hard for me to tend to the other things that I have going on, or it's hard for me to function or like take my mind away from this thing. I feel like it's sort of a black hole for me. It's just sucking like all of my attention and all of my focus in, and in a way that is not feeling good for me. This isn't the type of like, yes, I'm finally focused on something and can give my attention to it. This is more so like, I don't want this to be taking all of my focus. I don't want to be like so worried about this to the point where I can't function. Like this is like a preoccupation now at this point, and it's not allowing me to function properly within other areas of my life. So while you have that going on, I'm seeing Ace of Wands be coming your way. So over here, this is you like really fretting about things, but Ace of Wands is coming your way. So this means that like growth, opportunity, like new options, those things, this can be a door that's opening as well. It's coming in your direction. So make sure that you're not like so worried and having your head down so much that you're not seeing also the opportunities. And then I'm seeing what's coming with this Ace of Wands, which will be growth, expansion, opportunity, those types of things. Things that you are going to be able to like give your energy to, or like put your energy into, like your intention, those things. Like something that's going to say, direct that life force over here into this thing. So it's something that you can nurture and something that will grow because of it. What's connected with this thing that's coming your way? During a time that feels like you could really be struggling with some things, I'm seeing the Ten of Cups and I'm seeing Temperance be attached to it. So this is something that you would be like, I feel so happy that this opportunity ended up coming through, or that this is an option. This is something I feel really good about giving my energy to. Something about danishes are coming through, like cherry danishes or sweets or something like that. Or like something red, but there's like a sweet energy to it. It can even just be energetically something that would be like a, when you think about desserts, you think about things that are enjoyable, things that are about like pleasure, things that like make us happy, like that type of thing. Something to enjoy just in general. Ten of Cups is about your pursuit of happiness. Having Temperance with it, it's about allowing things to build towards that. Like having Ten of Cups and having Temperance can say that you may not feel like totally content with the way that things are now, but this is something that you're working towards, and you need to be patient with the process of it to allow that to sort of unfold, and for it to be realized, and for it to be experienced and felt on your end, rather than being like, I'm not feeling like this now and I'm never gonna feel like it. This is more so like, this is something that takes time to build because it is a process, but that is the direction that you're going in. So just know that if you've been feeling stuck, or if you've been feeling worried or whatever, I'm seeing that there's an opportunity that's coming through that will be something you feel very pleased with. and it will be another stepping stone, like essentially on your pursuit of happiness, like that type of thing. And know too that the 10 of Cups, it takes time to build. So to be looking around and being like, wow, I really feel at peace, there's steps that it takes to sort of get to that point. So be patient with it. Just because you may not be feeling that immediately with something doesn't mean that that's not what's going to be realized. It's something that takes time, and it takes transmuting, and it takes like working and sort of aiming your intention in that direction. And to also work on behalf of yourself and others. Having Justice here is a call for balance, a call and a need for balance. Also, too, having Temperance and having 10 of Cups can be you figuring out what actually feels fulfilling to you, and also what doesn't, you know? Like, what sucks your energy, what drains your energy, and it has you looking around being like, I'm not enjoying this at all, versus, or like not feeling at peace at all, or like this is not fulfilling for me at all, versus what do you look at and you're like, I really do feel connected with that, and it allows me to feel connected with the rest of the universe. You know, you're like finding your way and figuring out what those things are for you. And that's part of the process that's happening too. I feel like this is more than anything, when I see Temperance and 10 of Cups, it feels like an encouragement for you. Like, while you may be going through something that's feeling like, this is really difficult on me, like this is really mentally draining as well, it's your guide saying to not lose your sight, not lose your hope, like not lose your faith, and for this to be a process and like a continuation of something that you're participating in, rather than just looking at it and being like, I'm not there or I'm there. It's more so like making it about the process and knowing that that is the direction that you're going in, and you will feel very happy with what's presenting itself to you when this Ace of Wands comes through. Because it will be something that you can nurture and can grow from that point. So I'm looking at Libra, Sagittarius, and also Taurus here. When 10 of Swords came out, I was seeing 7 of Swords on the bottom of the deck. What this means is that so 10 of Swords can be something that happened that like doesn't feel good with the way sort of that it takes place, although it can be something that's either closing out or that it has closed out, meaning like it's already happened or you're going through the ending of that currently. Justice and 10 of Swords can be like, the right thing to do is to end this so things don't continue like growing in a lopsided manner. Having 7 of Swords can be like not doing something that is supposed to be done, or not listening to yourself, or not trusting yourself, or you, if you're the 7 of Swords in this setting primarily, this can be you doing something where you're like, I know that this isn't the right thing to do, but I'm doing it anyway. You know, it can be you like not listening to yourself, to have Justice above it. But also too, if you're around somebody and you feel like you can't trust them, or like you can't depend on them, or you can't rely on them, or they're not being honest with you. It's about recognizing like if you want to be in that situation or not, and then doing what needs to be done because of it. Because I am seeing Page of Pentacles here, and I am also seeing Ten of Swords here. So many different ways that this can be interpreted. It can be like, I've been getting assistance from this person or this thing, and I'm not going to be doing it anymore. But what also can be helpful for you to do is to end something that needs to end if it is not aligned with your values. And when I say your values, I mean like you can look at something and be like, that is wrong, or that should not continue, just based off of subjectively like your point of view, right? I'm not speaking about a like objective sense that's going to be something that will be able to resonate with every single person, you know, like we all have our own set of values. This is something that you particularly, you look at something and you're like, it's the right thing to close this out because you just wouldn't want something to continue. Having Justice and having the Hierophant here, these speak about impartial energies for the most part. Like as much as one can even tune into that or tap into that themselves. Also too, if you're doing something that you're like, this is not helping me sort of accomplish or do what I'm trying to do here, needing to close those things out, even though it can feel like a difficult thing to do. It's being able to look at this and be like, if it already is like that dead part of the plant, needing to prune that off, otherwise it keeps like sucking the rest of the life out of leaves that could be growing, you know, within the manifestation, within the like context of the canvas of your life here, as far as this segment of the reading goes. And I think too, figuring out like what is worrying you so much, what are you so concerned about, and figuring that out rather than just being like, I'm in the Nine of Swords, which can just be like, I'm having a really hard time with this, or I'm really freaking out about this, or I'm so upset about this, or I'm just like all the raw emotions. Having Queen of Swords come out here, it's like, how about instead of just experiencing the raw emotions, we actually try to find, on a surface level, we actually try to find out, where is this coming from? Like, what are you so worried about? What are you so concerned about? Like, why do you feel so upset? Or where is this fear coming from? And what is that really about? Like, having Queen of Swords is going to be about breaking down what is actually going on, and what is like what's taking up so much space mentally for you that it's hindering you at this point, where it's like, all I can do is feel super worried about it, and then you're not doing anything about it. It feels like just sitting there and stagnating within the energy, and then just staying there endlessly. And that, like, you don't have to do that. It doesn't have to be that way. So there's a lot of like underlying context that it seems like you're uncovering. And things about yourself, things about your psyche too. And taking the time, sort of going into the recesses of your mind with the Moon and Temperance. It's like, if I bring a flashlight over here, what can I learn about that? What is that gonna say to me? And rather than feeling like you need to look at everything at once or process everything at once, it's sort of like, well, what's coming up right now in this moment for me, and let me start there. I'm seeing the Death card. I'm also seeing Six of Wands too. Evolving, expanding, letting things conclude that need to conclude. It feels important that the Six of Wands is here with the Death card, because Death card can sometimes be like, we don't see how endings benefit us sometimes, or we don't want to let go of it because it's like, I think holding on to it is going to benefit me more so. But having Death card and having Six of Wands shows that by you sort of like reconfiguring things and allowing yourself to continue to move through this and to evolve and to surrender, it shows that there is like success that you gain in really like letting things go that need to be let go of, so the new energy can push through and come in. getting help closing out a chapter, figuring out what has been really getting to you mentally. Even though emotions can be involved in this, yes, I'm seeing more than anything a lot of air energy. So this is a lot about the psychology, which also speaks about having Pisces and Scorpio next to one another here, psychology. Even though both of them are water signs, both of them are connected with psychology and mental health. And then having Sagittarius above those two energies, it's about learning this about you, like yourself as an individual and what you're going through. And then Taurus and Libra are both about your core values, and it's about your Venus energy. Both of these are the two energies that are ruled by Venus. So the stuff about your interpersonal relationships, there can be a big focus on that. Why things aren't harmonious and what needs to happen in order for things to be harmonious in a way that will reflect that for you specifically and for like your values in particular. So this means that if I've been carrying something on that's not actually in alignment, even though I can have a lot of fear about needing to close those things out, I need to figure out, like, why am I so scared of doing that? And is this fear, even though it's like not the fear itself, it's more so like what we do with it, is what I'm doing with my fear hindering me rather than empowering me? Because you can use fear to benefit you. You can use it to figure out like what's going on with you. You can be figuring out unconscious beliefs that you have. This can be a really great opportunity for you to really dig into your psyche, but it can be something that it can be hard to bring light to those things because there can be a lot of fear there, and that can be difficult to look at. Like, you can be like, I'm really scared to tune in and see what's going on. It's not that you can't, it's more so whether you're willing to or not. And to have the patience to sort of work with yourself and allow you to evolve. And what happens with this, like what ends up, basically what comes to fruition if you do this sort of work with yourself, is that you end up being able to realize your 10 of Cups, which is like, I'm looking at my life and I'm actually feeling really happy about it. I'm feeling good about it. I'm feeling like I can surrender to the sweetness of my life, rather than being stuck in something where it's like, well, this isn't working for me, but I'm not gonna close these things out. I'm gonna allow it to continue, and then you just stay in that cycle of like, this is terrible because I know that this needs to end, but I'm refusing to do that because I'm scared, and my response to my fears to just shut down here and stay right here. And then it's like you're perpetuating it actually when you think about it. And then it keeps you from having the thing that you actually want, you know? It can be like, I don't want to let this go because then what if I'm like never happy, or I never like feel good about my life again, you know? And then it's like, that's actually the thing that keeps you from realizing that within your life, like that sort of thing. I'm seeing stuff about commitments coming up, things about values, things about like promises, and also your values just in general, but especially within your relationships. To have 4 of Wands and to have 5 of Wands, it means that there can be a shift that occurs, and initially when it comes through, you can look at an opportunity and be like, this is introducing chaos into something that I want to be stable, but at the same time, this type of change can be something that allows you to realize more deeply what you are trying to realize, what you are trying to experience. And it can allow things to enhance or to become better or more aligned with what you would prefer to experience. I think too, one of the biggest things that you're working with yourself is times when you can feel very distraught, and learning how to still function during those times where you feel very impacted by what's going on. Like, how do you continue through that at times when it can feel very, very difficult to function because you may be facing the things that feel most challenging for you within this lifetime? Like, how do you still function through that? How do you still work through that rather than shutting down entirely and then dismissing what's speaking to you and saying, like, hey, we need to do something with this energy? You know, like that type of thing. And being patient with yourself too as you're working with these unconscious layers of yourself and going like layer by layer, deeper by deeper, understanding like, what does this mean? What do I do with this? What is this speaking to me? And like getting to know yourself better and better by like uncovering things. And this remembering of self that happens through this process of exploration, that this is an invitation for you to engage within. From a psychological standpoint, this is going to feel like an immense shift that's happening psychologically and spiritually. Also too, just having the moon and having the death card, I think about like avoiding change and avoiding doing work. Like what can happen? We can avoid change, we can avoid doing the work because of being like terrified of the change, terrified of the expansion, terrified of the death card, you know, Pluto coming through and being like, you got to give it up, or you got to surrender it, or you need to look at this right now. And it can be those things where it's like, I don't want to, I kind of want to run away from it. But then like what you end up finding in the power, the personal power that you end up gaining through being willing to move through this process. And it helps you become enveloped in the type of change that you actually do seek, even if your fear, your ego may be telling you something else. Like, this is feeling really unsafe right now. And also working with those elements of yourself too. This feels like it is a bit of a confusing process at times, or just can feel congested. It can feel like there's a lot going on, there's a lot coming up, there's a lot to move through. But again, coming back to that remembrance of this being a process that you're participating in, and it being about the process and just tackling or moving through or interacting with whatever is currently presenting itself to you. And then in the next moment, what's presenting itself to you, and then in the next moment, what's presenting itself to you. Like, do it like that. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I'd like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.